What up, everybody? I'm your host, JP, and this is my co-host, Josh.
Hey, everyone.
And welcome back to another episode of the FilmBros podcast. What's going on, everybody? We're back to bring you guys another review. And this review finna be a Scream. Scream 6, to be specific.
Hello.
Let's play a game.
You know you're like the 10th guy to try this, right? It never works out for the dipshit in the mask.
Maybe. But there's never been one like me, Gale. I'm something different.
Okay. Scream 2023 just came out right before Shazam 2, right after Creed 3.
Man.
And you know what? It did pretty good. It did pretty good. The weekend was very kind, and Thursday night's opening was very kind. Scream 6 got the biggest Thursday opening in the franchise, though it still has not yet beat out the OG original Scream for having the biggest box office dollar amount in its wallet as of right now. It's steadily climbing, and with Shazam 2 not being an opposition at all, they had 2 straight weeks to basically make something about it. And yeah, so Scream 6 comes right off the heels of Scream 2022. Got a Rotten Tomato score of 77% and an audience score of 91%. We got the returning directors coming back who directed Scream 5 2022. They're throwing us off with these requel names. Let's copy the original name, whatever.
Scream 5. Just call it Scream 5.
All right, Scream 5. Coming back from Scream 5, James Vanderbilt and Guy Bisk. Coming back to direct their second outing at least. We also got the returning actors back for Scream 6. We got Jenna Ortega as Tara, Sam Carpenter as Melissa Barrera. Gail Weathers is coming back, obviously. If you guys didn't know, surprise, Kirby came back. Mason Gooding is back for this one. Jasmine Savoy Brown is also back. And a few new faces. Samara Weaving was there. Tony Revolori, depending on whether or not you like him, he was in there as well. There was it was it had a good cast.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna
really
lie.
good cast.
I you know what? I'm still shaking my arm for Samara Weaving, but basically what happens in Scream 6, we have the beginning opening kill, but it's just not any kill. They wound up twisting it around. We wound up seeing the killer. Okay, they're like, oh, we're going to show you who the killer is. They wound up showing you who the killer is, fake you out immediately. That killer is gone. We go through some good hurdles. Tara's over here trying to live her life while her older sister, Melissa, is keeping her back and telling her to be safe. Tara's over here thinking nothing can go wrong. Then, boom, Scream enters their life and leaves it bloody. Bloodier than other movies, I'll tell you that much. The
kills are so great.
Yeah, the bloodiness in this movie gets up there. We have a few twists and turns. That bodega scene, crazy. We get around to the final act, which is the 3 killers. Now, this is the part where I think this is the part where people had mixed reactions depending on whether you really went for this or you really did not like it. We had the 3 killer reveal, and then at the very end they live happily ever after, or do they? We have a whole new venue for this one. We're no longer in Woodsboro. We're now in New York City, which is the first time Scream has ever left Woodsboro. I think besides Scream 3, the opening Scream 3, where, they were in Hollywood. But other than that, I think it's been prominently based in Woodsboro. Josh, you've seen the movie Scream 6. What are your initial thoughts before we start diving deeper into this review.
But wait, before I tell you my thoughts, let's hear a quick word from ZippyStream, our sponsor for this podcast.
Today's episode is sponsored by ZippyStream. If you are wondering how we make money to run our podcast, it's all because of this innovative platform. Here at FilmBros Podcast, we absolutely love using ZippyStream. It's the easiest way to convert listeners into an email list, but best of all, they find us sponsorship so we can keep making money doing what we love.
Suppose you're also a podcaster thinking about starting one. ZippyStream will help you find and manage your relationship with brands that are relevant to your audience. If you want to learn more, contact us as soon as possible. Everyone that signs up this month will get to claim £10 as a joining bonus, which is around $12 or something like that.
Just reach out to us by email or social media DMs, and I'll put you in touch with the guys at ZippyStream right away. Now back to the pod.
Oh man. Well, I liked it. I really did. Really, really good movie. Honestly, I don't know what it is, but ever since, 5, I mean, these two are, the 5 and 6 have become like my favorites, which is really weird because I've seen the other ones way before, you know what I mean? How new directors can like twist things and make it come to their own thing.
Yeah.
While also keeping it nice to the original thing, you know what I mean? So it's good that they've been able to do that. I like the movie. As for like the ending and stuff, I mean, we can talk about that later, but I enjoyed the whole twist, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean, everybody loves a good Scream twist. I don't think anybody hates it. It's just whether or not the twist hits for people, because we have reoccurring, at least with Scream, the second one didn't do too well because of the twist. The third one didn't do too well because of the twist. Everybody loves the whole movie, but when the twist happens and the motivation is not there, it seems to dwindle down that twist, that excitement. But let's start off with the beginning, that opening kill scene right there in New York. We have Samara Weaving playing a teacher who is into making movies. So she basically got lured in with the tropes and the things that she, I'm sure, teaches her class to look out for, and winds up being the first kill of the movie, which ultimately sucks for me because, and I know that these two directors worked with her, James Vanderbilt and Guy Bisk worked with her in Ready or Not. So I know that this was probably just like a favor, and they were just like, hey, do you want to be in the Scream movie? And she was like, fuck yeah, kill me. And like, she just came through. I thought it was pretty cool. When they showed that Tony, what's his name? Tony Gilroy was the killer, or Tony Revolori. Jason. When they showed that Jason was the main killer, I was like, damn, this is going to be a completely different movie. We're not even going to get that twist that, people want. And then sure enough, we got a twist at the beginning, which really drew me in. I'm not going to lie. That whole beginning sequence just really drew me in. It was very creepy, very eerie. It wasn't even about the cast that we were seeing in the previous film. It was just some random that we knew it was building up for the movie, but I just didn't think it was going to turn that way.
Yeah, no. When the chick when he stabbed the fuck out of the teacher, I was like, God damn. Because that first kill really set the tone, you know what I mean? He stabbed her about like 20 times,
Yeah.
So like he was going in on her and he was like, and all of his justification was that she gave him a D. Come on, bro. That shit was fucked up. When he goes back to his apartment, yeah, that sequence was scary as fuck. It was drawing me into. I was like, God damn, bro, like, where is he at? Why are you playing this game with him? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If he's your roommate, I would have been like, all right, I'm gonna sit on this couch. Fuck you. You'll come out of hiding because I'm not playing your game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he had that whole shrine with like 3 different masks. Their in-universe movie. What was it called?
Stab.
Yeah. And then they had more robes and stuff, which is really creepy to keep in your fucking closet if you're really gonna go for this whole imposter thing. Keeping it in your closet isn't the way to go, I don't think.
Yeah, no.
And then he goes to his apartment trying to search for it. And then what I found really disturbing, that whole conversation, was when he was like, "Why'd you do it?" And then he tells him, "Well, she gave me a D and this and that." And then he was like, "How'd it feel?" And then he was like, "Oh, she was just a piece of meat and this and that." And then Ghostface stabs him, kills him, and he's like, "Do you feel like a piece of meat now?" And he like stabs him 20 times. I'm telling you, the kills in this one were like great.
Yeah, they
really bloody,
really brutal. When the boyfriend was showed in the refrigerator there, I was like, God damn, we know what we're getting into. So then we move on, and they wind up showing us, where Melissa's character is, where Tara's character is at, where the rest of the group is. And those we had the twins, the brother and the sister, the movie fanatic and the jock. While one was living his life but being cautious, which was the brother, the other one was just being, the sister was being careless, right? But also still knew the tropes to look out for and knew that things were changing. Tara and Melissa, on the other hand, like I said in the beginning, Melissa wants to hold on tight and keep her safe because she felt like she wasn't there for her in the first Scream, which, if you guys seen, she was not there. And, it's cool to see that yin and yang pull, right, from both perspectives, from the twins and from the sisters, that, Tara wants to move on with her life and do her own thing, where Melissa is like, no, we are stuck in this forever. I mean, if you guys haven't heard of Sidney Prescott, you should know that if you've seen Ghostface and survived, you're gonna be chased around for a little bit.
Yeah.
It was just an interesting way to kind of put it. Me personally did not like that. I was like, Tara, come on, dude. Like, that it was that a killer just tried to kill you. So why aren't you being in my head, why aren't you being a little bit more, cautious? Like, I get, going out to party and everything, but I just didn't like how they made her overly careless. And then later on, they, she gets pulled back in and, she's doing her own thing. But what do you think about that scene when they were at the party and, she's trying to save her and Tara's coming off this way and Melissa's going that way? And same thing with the twins.
Before we talk about that, can I talk about the scene just before that?
Yeah.
Where she's talking to her therapist.
Okay.
So, oh man, it would piss me off about that specifically, just because I know you like skipped over that scene. Is like, when he's trying to get her to open up and everything, and then she does, which again, being related to a serial killer and this and that, it's heavy shit. But to just be like, to have her open up and then be like, I have to tell the cops about this and that, you know what I mean? It really feels like a stab in the back itself, you know what I mean? Because like, he was forcing her to open up and everything, and because like she had like how many sessions prior, and then now that she does, he's more like, you gotta go, I can't do this, I'm not equipped, this isn't that. Like, yeah, you're the one that told her to do it. You should have been prepared for the worst. Like,
and I like that because that kind of cemented that. We'll talk about this a little bit later on. Thank you for bringing it back up, because this is was gonna kind of play into the ending, but kind of shows you why she's kind of not all there. You know what I mean? Because she tries to go for help, but yet everybody rejects her because what is she? The daughter of a killer, right? Nobody wants to help her out. Nobody believes her. Everybody thinks she's the one who did it. Why? Because her father was a killer. That does play later on, but it is. I thought it was kind of fucked up. I was like, dude, you're a therapist, bro. Like, you're paid to hear this crazy shit. Why the hell are you not? And
like, it makes like, cause okay, you don't live just like you don't go through a whole Ghostface experience and not be on the news and this and that. You know what I mean? Her name was everywhere. What do you call it? So if he was the one highlighting such a high profile case, he should have known that she was probably fucked up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but and that's what I'm saying. This scene really cemented and set up later on why she is, honestly, could be possibly setting up to, in my opinion, be the killer for Scream 2024. I don't know when the new one's coming out, but they ramped it up to come out soon. Scream 7.
But back to the party scene. Yeah. What I didn't really. I mean, the whole saving her part was nice. I like that the twin brother was there to help out with that, and then the sister tases him in the balls. What I didn't really enjoy was I didn't like how careless she was, and then that whole scene where the dude is trying to take advantage of her and she's kind of letting it. I was kind of like, ugh, did this have to be in this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was sitting there kind of uncomfortable for myself. I was like, God.
I when they showed the scene, like the beginning, it kind of hit me as a little funny with the whole killing and the way he was kind of like being so nonchalant about it, but what really cemented that they were going to be sprinkling in little funny scenes and really playing onto that comedy side along with the thriller side is when she comes up to him with the taser and she's just basically like yeah, and then just goes at it and he just like stands there. I was like, okay, they're gonna be sprinkling in some kind of humor into this one, and honestly I think it worked throughout the movie, the little pockets of comedy they had.
Yeah, for sure. It was funny, but before all that it was kind of like, ugh, I don't really want to have to sit through this. And then she drags her along, and then they're in the street, and then just before, while they're arguing and stuff about being overprotective and her trying to live in the moment, this and that. That was another thing though, because I think she was a little too nonchalant. Like, it happened a year ago, like it shouldn't be so nonchalant. It literally just happened.
She literally got thrashed in her house.
Exactly. Like she not only was she the first victim in that movie, but she was chased to a hospital. Dewey died in front of her. Like, you know what I mean? So she should be a little bit more traumatized, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But they have that whole argument about living in the moment and then being overprotective, and then that I don't know where this group of chicks just bumps into them, splashes water on her, and like I was kind of like, oh, these bitches. Like I was just like at that point I was like, kill these motherfuckers.
Yeah. I do like, because later on they playing on, they go down, they're at the house together, they're trying to consult everybody, make sure everybody's cool, make sure Tara's they spark that little love interest between Tara and the brother, and they talk things through, and they had that little humor and show like how he says in the movie, they're core four, they are the four that are gonna survive. I like that they sprinkled that in there because it shows that they are tight, they're gonna be helping each other. And though I love the original Scream movies, that I feel like that's something that they lacked. Even though that they were friends, they still let themselves go all over the place and not really watched each other's backs. Like when in Scream 2, when the twins' uncle died, what's his name in the original? What's his name? Come on.
Oh fuck! No,
I know the green shirt.
No, I can't remember his name.
What's his name, man?
Randy.
Yes. Okay. So like in Scream 2, when Randy just like walked off and wound up getting murdered in a van and everything, I was like, man, like those are your homies. Like what? They didn't even notice you were gone until you were gone already. Like to me that's kind of fucked up. So I kind of like in this one that they kind of put it. They kind of were doing the same thing in Scream 5 where they just let everybody go out. But now that they built that relationship, that core four, I like that they were looking out for each other, that they were watching each other's backs. It would have really hurt if the twist at the end would have, involved one of those four. But it's good that they kept them there, and they showed, like, regardless, these are the people you're going to see. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Their chemistry is great together.
Yeah,
too.
No, their friendship was really cool. The whole scene after that. Well, yeah, they find out that the college students were killed, fucking brutally killed, and then that's when they're like, it cements into Tara, right? That's
Jenna Ortega.
That's Jenna Ortega's character, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tara. That it's real again, or she thinks it's a prank at first, and then she's like, nah, it has to be real, whatever. And so sister starts freaking out, pulls them all into the apartment room, and they're like, we're not leaving. And then They end up leaving. They end up going somewhere down the street or whatever because the police need to talk to them, right? And then
Because the ID was in the apartment.
yeah. So they go down. They're like, oh shit. They get the phone call from
Ghostface.
well, yeah. Well, no. I mean, the call was from Ghostface, but the ID showed her ex, her dead ex. So I forgot his name, but I don't really care.
Richie.
Richie, there you go. So she gets the call. He's like, "Oh shit, I never blocked her number. This and that." And then he's like, "I'm coming to get you. This and that." Leads straight into the bodega scene, and oh my god, man,
That bodega scene was.
when they run in, and she's like, she's pretty much just like, "Help, help, we need help," hysterical and whatnot. And then he walks in like nothing. You've never seen this happen before. He walks in like nothing. The guy, one of the dudes, tries to stand up to him. He's like, "You got a problem, bro?" And then he fucking stabs him, stabs another dude. And then what threw me off about this scene a little bit though was the shotgun dude, the store clerk. Because he says, "Hey," racks the shotgun and then pulls the trigger. Why couldn't you just pull the trigger? I know that would kill the movie, but like,
I'm telling you. Well, we'll probably get to all those little bad things towards the end because that's one of the things that I was gonna bring up later. But for the most part, the bodega scene was actually pretty fire.
yeah,
Where they weren't doing stupid decisions, but they were actually like being quiet. That tension that he could easily look through the wall or like look over the wall when they were crawling. Him leaving his mask at the end and, just like I said, just thrashed everybody. And this is what kind of cemented it for me that Scream is going to change forever because you said it, Ghostface doesn't do that. He's a sneaky one, right? He's going to come out the shadows, kill you when you're not suspecting it, and leave your body there. You know what I mean? That's who he usually is. This one was like, fuck you, I'm here to kill you two. If you're gonna stand in my fucking way, you're getting stabbed, you're getting shot, everybody's dying. He did not care. They don't care about the body count in this one, which is great. If they go down this route for the next installments, I'm just telling you right now, Scream is gonna be racking up hella bodies. But that whole bodega scene, leaving the mask as a little calling card and then darting was, honestly, I liked it. The whole bodega scene was great, even with the little dumb parts or whatever. But like I said, all those little dumb parts are sprinkled out throughout this movie, and I will be addressing, I believe, every single one of them towards the end of the movie. But towards the end of this review. But moving on, is there anything that you would say that you felt was different when you seen him in the bodega scene?
Just the aggressiveness. But they kind of set that tone in the first few kills, you know what I mean? Way before he meets Tara and the sister. You're basically just like, oh damn, what the fuck? Like, why is he so aggressive now? Because yeah, he used to be the goofy one that would he'd sneak and stuff, but and then he'd try to run and then he'd slip and fall, you know what I mean? Like, he was clumsy, remember? And then but now it feels a little bit more strategic. So he was just like, fuck you, stabbing you, you're dead. Dude with the fucking shotgun blew his brains out. That shit was tough. I was like, God, but
poor guy.
Just the aggressiveness and the tone where you were just like, fuck, you know what I mean? He's coming hard, bro. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and then we wound up getting them to the police station and everything. They wound up being let go, being told that they're being looked for. They wound up that's when we get that little like I told you, that little scene in the apartment where they're like, the core four and we're gonna stick together. All the while, Scream is in their bedroom fucking up their homegirl and the man, and was able to take a picture with her while doing so. It's a funny little gag on thing. They thought that she was over here doing it because in the beginning it's a little gag thing. It's funny. Wound up throwing her out the door. Then this is where the bloody stuff coming in, because Tara and the brother wound up making their way out, but then the rest of them have to stay, which was Melissa, Jasmine Soy Brown's character, her girlfriend Devin was in there. Some people did not make it, and it was a very gruesome gruesome scene, very bloody, worse than the bodega scene, I would have to say.
Oh, dude, that whole scene had me on the edge of my seat. I was like, God damn, like cross over the fucking ladder, bro. Hurry the fuck up. Yeah, no, that whole scene, I was like, God, and then like the whole fucking, he's chasing them through the apartment. He manages to stab the sister, and then he fucks up the girlfriend like quickly, and then this whole scene with the boyfriend, like I don't know. You said we'll talk about it later, so I'll save it for later. But he basically pulls the ladder over, saves them, and then Ghostface is like, he's going in on that door, bro. He is like trying to break it down. Like, I understand, like, we've seen this happen before where he's putting in all his strength to like get inside the fucking room and stuff, but my God, to get past the whole dresser, bro, you got to be a different kind of angry. You know what I mean?
I mean, that was my thing. I didn't feel the aggression matched the dresser with that scene. I felt like he was putting his all, and I felt like that dresser looked light enough to topple. I don't think that it was big enough to have been
really?
so hard to push out. Yeah, that was just me. But I do like the suspense that they were building up, because, you know, they let the crippled one go last, the one that took a hit for them in the beginning, which was the girlfriend. Unfortunately, I would have had her try to go first, but I understand, you know, if somebody's gonna go, they're gonna obviously get rid of that one. So I was like, okay, that's fine with me. And, you know, what happened to Tara and the boyfriend? Oops, we don't know. And so, but moving on, we we wound up getting that reveal with Ghostface, the shrine. The dad is in shock of the daughter, because, you know, the daughter was up there. One thing that we didn't discuss and we kind of skipped over was Kirby's return. They did show that Kirby had came back, and for those that didn't know, Kirby was one of the characters in Scream 4, which people thought she was presumably dead, but then when Scream 5 came out, there was an article that Eagle Eye fans spotted out and said, nope, she's still alive in universe. Campaigned to have her back, and she came back. Me personally, as a Kirby fan in Scream 4, she did not feel like Kirby. The beginning, kind of, maybe that little part towards the end when they had that heart-to-heart with the other, what I would kind of say, the daughter, Jasmine Savory Brown, that, you know, they're that movie buffs, right, for their own respective films. And I don't know, I kind of felt like she was kind of weird in this one. I wish they would have made her more Kirby-like, but I understand she's older and they were probably trying to make her a little bit more mature, but I would have wished we would have seen that Kirby just a little bit more.
I can't remember much of Scream 4, so I have no room to comment, but I mean, I liked her for what she was. I mean, being the whole FBI agent, and then being also like she was basically filling in for Cindy, you know what I mean? Like, they needed another victim who's still alive kind of shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they brought in her, which is fine. I mean, no big problem about it. It's I thought she was cool as a character. But moving on. Where were we after the apartment scene?
Yeah.
And the daughter gets killed. 2 kills, 2 aggressive kills. What do you call it? The daughter of the cop, and then, the girlfriend. So now they're outside of the
Apartment.
place. Yeah, like morning after type shit. They're with the ambulance. They're figuring it out. Just before all that, their group had made friends. The two, as they were explaining it all, what do you call it? It's the core 4, the girlfriend, and that nerd who was roommates with the jock,
Ethan.
Yeah. So immediately I was like, okay, yeah. They kind of make it obvious that, spoiler alert, the nerd is the fucking killer. He's one of them. What do you call it? He was disappearing a lot. You're kind of like, well, where was he? Yeah, bullshit. He said he was studying. It's bullshit. He's clearly one of them, right? I
think it's funny that they were able to spot him out for like the whole movie.
Exactly, because they were like, where was he? And that's where my thing was. I was like, where the fuck did he go? Wasn't he just here with them, you know? So the whole thing happens. Like I said, they're in the ambulance. The kid shows up. He's like, "Stay away from us. Like you're on our list as number one of the killer because you keep disappearing." And then, yeah, so on and so forth. We'll keep moving on. The therapist dies gruesomely.
Very badly. Yeah, that therapist kind of deserved it though. He was kind of a dickhead. He deserved everything that he got, and it made it so like the Scream character can go and steal the files and everything. Then we move on to the next scene. So after the scene when the therapist dies, we see the group get back together. They're out there plotting and planning, and then we see Gail. Gail was kind of sprinkled out throughout the whole movie, and she was kind of there just to kind of be that punching bag for Tara and them because she's writing a book for about their murders that she promised that wasn't going to happen. She wound up getting hit by Tara. She was kind of sprinkled in saying that she was going to help out. As they're planning now, Scream's like, okay, let me go after one of the OGs again. Goes after Gail Weathers. We have that nice little apartment scene. Her man gets completely throttled really quick. Well, Gail had, in my opinion, one of the better scenes in this movie, being chased around. And that's one of the things that was lacking in Scream 5 was chase scenes, and they did not let up in this movie when it came to chase scenes because that whole apartment scene where she's running around and Ghostface is chasing her, and then when she pulls out that toolie and she did not give a fuck, just pop, 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 still took knives and was stabbings and chugged along like. Gail's a fucking menace. I don't know. Maybe a little bit better than Sidney Prescott, in my opinion.
Man, she was not playing games. She pulled out the gun and was like, "All right, I'm gonna shoot you in your fucking head." Then, she shoots at the door, and then the clever shit was that she used the reverse call or whatever, and just to hear where he was before popping in more.
I know when she was like, "Hold on one second." Called back, it just rang, and she just went pop, pop, pop. No hesitation.
He was just like, "What?" Like, you know what I mean? Like right before he
Yeah.
gets cut off, he's like, "What the fuck?" So, that whole apartment scene happens. I thought that was it. I thought she was dead. I was gonna be like, I was ready to write her off. You know what I mean?
I would have been pissed. I would have been like, "Do we now, Gail?" Oh hell no.
I was like, "Yep, this is it." And then they figure out she has light pulse. She's alive. She gets to come back for another one if she wants to. Moving past that,
we get to the subway scene. Now this is the part where they already made their plan, and they're like, this is what we need to do, but we just gotta get there first." So now they get to the subway scene, and we kind of seen this scene in the trailer, and they kind of faked us out within the trailer. But we see in this scene that you could be surrounded by everybody, and you are still vulnerable in New York City. Now, we already always hear, and this is what makes New York City scary for Scream, because we always hear in New York City, people just end up like, done for. It's a reflection of real life, even though this movie was shot in Canada, in substitute of New York City, it kind of imitates life. So seeing that everybody was just so worried about themselves, the costume party, and seeing that, Scream could still get the drop on one of them within the train while sitting next to people who are just napping, it to me is that shit's scary. That shit was scary. That was what made me look over my shoulder when I left the movie theater. I was like, damn, if I was in this movie theater, anybody could. Kind of like what happened in Scream 2 when they're in the movie theater and everybody's cheering for Scream and she got stabbed,
fucking dying.
You know what I mean? And in this one, seeing it in a bigger scale in a subway, damn, that shit was crazy.
Yeah, that whole subway scene made me uneasy. I was like, oh, I remember this from the trailer. We know,
Mm-hmm.
So, what happens is Tara, her sister, and then the boy, the jock, basically end up on the same train. The twin sister, and the dude, the nerdy dude, end up on a different train. I don't know how that happens. Just blame New York citizens. They end up on a different train. Tara and the other two are scared because they see Ghostface, which is really, like I think I told you this way before when when the thing dropped. What do you call it? Like, you would think they would make a ban on this sort of costume. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but guess
You
not.
would think so, but everybody just wears it. It should have been like, okay, after the first movie, make fun of it. Okay, whatever. The second one, well, we can give you the third one. Okay, people are actually dying. People, like, what are you guys doing in universe?
Like, okay, so yeah, there's a bunch of Ghostface on the train, which with a lot of other like who's who. There was a lot of Easter eggs to different scary movie characters, if you remember that.
Yeah, brief pause on your thing. That's what I really liked, and the directors kind of went and talked about it a little bit in an interview, and they basically talked about how like they were able, like they were at first they weren't gonna put no masks in, but then I guess their legal team was like, well, you can put them in as long as you don't show their weapons. So you can wear their masks or whatever, but you can't, have the knives for hands, or you can't have the machete. You just have to have them, mingling or whatever. And that's how they were able to put. There's so many Easter eggs. There's like, it was in there. Wednesday was in there. You seen Buzz, Woody. You seen a bunch of fun characters in there that were just evil, funny, and just thrown in there. I think there was a Rick and Morty in there at one point.
You can point them out if you really sit down and just pick them up.
Yeah, I can't wait for Blu-ray because I just want to do that.
Yeah. So back on the other train,
yeah,
the twin sister and the dude are having similar trouble, except they are only people apart because she doesn't trust him because earlier again she blamed him for being one of the killers, which at this point, like I said, I figured he was one of them. Mm-hmm. So yeah. She's just like in the trailer, like spoiler, what do you call it? She's the one that gets stabbed. So it's really scared the fuck out of me because I was like, how does no one see this? Like the fact that he was able to cover her mouth and then stab her still, and then just like literally move the knife up a few inches.
Yeah.
And then no one even noticed. I was like, God damn, bro, New York citizens must really be this like, like keep to themselves type shit.
You don't mess with nobody, they don't mess with you. That's how it is out there.
So, while the other three make it to the hideout, the shrine, they make it to the shrine. Yeah, the twin sister's bleeding out. They get her to a hospital. She kind of doesn't show up for the rest of the third act. So I mean, we don't really have to address that too much. But yeah, the geek. The nerd, I forget his name. He makes his way back to the shrine. Yeah. But the Tara, the sister, and the jock are at the shrine. They get the call from the cop saying that Kirby's with them. I totally forget. Kirby
is with them.
What do you call it? They call him and the cop calls them and is like, Kirby's insane. She's the killer. This and that. Mm-hmm. So they lose Kirby and now they're in a room full of ghost faces.
Yeah, and they're trying to figure out who's who, and then we get that crazy scene where homeboy gets stabbed a bunch of times. The jock, he gets stabbed. That shit was actually pretty good, and I was
putting up a good fight before that, though.
Yeah, no, dude, honestly. And then we get that sexy scene where they both wipe the knives off themselves. Then we finally see that it wasn't Kirby, but here comes the reveal, guys. It was the cop and his two kids. The daughter wound up being alive the whole time, faked out. That's why she was able to take a selfie when all that stabbing was happening in her room. As we guessed it, Ethan, the brother, and we got the dad. They wound up duking it out in the back in that whole little warehouse full of Ghostface memoirs. They wound up getting the upper hand. Got good kills on them. Melissa finally decides, I'm going to embrace my inner Billy Loomis and put the mask on. Got the final kill. Wound up winning. Wound up walking off. Had a good day. The ending kills were great. Everybody held up their own. Tara, Jenny Ortega, for being in so many roles, she can still kind of make that differentiation between her roles. And I like the kind of character she played towards the end. Yeah. Though I didn't like her character in the beginning, I did like her character towards the end because she actually became strong and said, I ain't gonna be that victim. I was never that victim, but I'm gonna, I'm gonna finish this shit myself. And we had a good time. Now, with all the good that the movie gives, there's some bad. Now, one character that we honestly did not mention throughout the whole movie or throughout this whole review is the boyfriend, Josh Sequeira's character, Danny Brackett. He was basically the neighbor that helped them cross that ladder that we were talking about earlier. He was the one that was around to basically be is he the killer because the boyfriend, but we didn't really see too much of him, so I didn't really suspect him to be one. I hate how they left him out of the ending. They should have had him in there to kind of prove like, hey, I was with you to help you the whole time. He was never around to like help protect her, and I get that they, trust or whatever, blah 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 blah, but it just seemed like they put him in there just to throw you off, and they didn't really utilize him in the best way possible. Because I could have felt like he should have been there towards the end, at least in the ending third act.
Oh, I didn't care for his character. That's what I was trying to save for earlier when I was like, we'll talk about it because I knew we would, but I didn't really care for his character. I was like, okay, yeah, he's just another love interest that the girl is having trouble trusting. So I'm like, we don't really need him there. Like, who says that we need her to be with him? You know what I mean?
They just needed a way to cross the ladder.
Yeah, well, to like fake you out and this and that. Yeah, I get that, but I feel like it could have been anyone else, not some fake love interest who was low key kind of creepy to me. Like every time I got on screen, he was trying to act sexy with his voice and this and that, and I was like, dog, like there's better shit to be doing right now. Like I want to get to the kill, get to the next one. Like I don't want to see this dude, And I honestly, it would have been nice if like he died or something like that. Then okay, maybe now it makes sense. She can't have any loved ones, whatever. But no, yeah, waste of a character. And honestly, the film would have been better off without him in it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean they could have probably done something better. Instead of doing that whole using him to do that whole ladder scene or whatever. They could have all ran out the door and we could have got a sick ass scene down the stairwell of, maybe Scream trying to run down and kill him or something. You know what I mean? Something a little bit better. I just felt like he was throwaway. Like we were able to go through this whole review and really not mention him. I mean, unless you find him very vital for the whole ladder scene, but that could have been anybody. You know what I mean?
That could have been like
it could have been a random neighbor who seen the whole carnage and was like, "I'm gonna help you," kind of thing, and then he could have died right after. Exactly. You know what I mean? It could have been anybody.
Like glad that's over, stab. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
so his character within the movie, though he could have been an important character and he could have been utilized in a good way. They at the point, I kind of felt at that juncture where they could have used them in a good way, where it could have been compelling. They just completely said, no, we're going the other direction.
Yeah.
So that was something that, I just have to be like, all right, that's fine. He is a throwaway and that's okay. Kirby's character as well, same thing. I felt like she was brought back as
fan
service. Yeah, because she didn't really do much. Everything that she did, she was one step behind of Gale, and everything that she did, the cop was doing anyways. You know what I'm saying? So, like, in reality, she didn't really need to be there. I wish they would have gave her more to do. I wish she would have been, if not one step ahead of Gale, at least on the same length as Gale. You know what I'm saying? Because that would have.
She's the FBI agent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so. She's an FBI agent. She's been through this before. Gale's just a reporter, and she's been through this before. So why is she a better detective than you? You know what I mean? I would have thought they would have utilized her a little bit better. That's why I'm saying, like, I don't think that she was really feeling like that Kirby. Like when I first seen her, I was like excited, but after seeing her throughout the movie, I was just like, meh. Could have used her a little bit better, and I just didn't really see why they brought her back. But I do love Hayden Panettiere. I thought they did her dirty with the hair.
But yeah, I told you she was just probably there to fill in Sydney's spot, which is fine. But yeah, she should have been more if she was gonna be more prominent.
Yeah, like that whole twist at the end would have hit a little bit harder if they would have had her do a little bit more. It would have been like, oh, she could be the Ghostface killer, but the whole time she was a step behind. So I was kind of like, well, how can she be Ghostface if she's a step behind? You know what I mean? Unless she's playing stupid. But like, yeah, they could have done with her a little bit better. And I would say a lot of the situations in the movie really bothered me because there was a lot of shit that you would have been like, why would you do that? Like the shotgun scene in the bodega. Why didn't you just take the shot? Why would you even say anything? You know what I mean? That was one of the scenes. And then the scene where they took a picture first, like I was like, so you're telling me that nobody thought like, hey, how was he able to get a selfie? Like in that whole time, you know, if he was stabbing her, like she would just like this, and he was able to take a picture the whole time. And then when they in that same apartment scene, when Tara and the boyfriend ran down the stairs and did not notice that nobody was running behind them, I thought that was ridiculous. And then how did Scream leave the apartment if they were right there outside the door? If they went back to go help him, but they never even showed what happened after that. And it was kind of like they just cut straight to the bottom where the dad's sad because of his daughter. And I was just like, that's kind of like a big question mark for me too.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I can see those things. It's just that's the one thing about these movies where if you just sit there and think about it, you're like, well, okay, like I guess this has to happen. But like, yeah, the whole I know you were telling me about the whole stairway scene, and I was like trying to think about it, and I'm like, yeah, I see what you mean. I think the biggest thing was just the whole shotgun scene. Like, why would you I understand the movie has to happen, and a headshot to the face kind of kills that. But if we've seen him tank a bullet before, he could probably tank a slug. You know what I mean? There's no reason for him not to. Sure, it would hurt, and he'd stumble and whatever. But if he was wearing protection like the first one was in Scream 5,
yeah,
then you'd be like, okay, yeah, we've seen him take a bullet before. It's not like he's immune. He's still human, but a slug to the chest is going to hurt. Then it could have been a whole different story. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
for the dude to be like, hey, rack one, him be able to like take a look back and then dodge, like,
why not rack one in first, scare him with the the click of it, and yeah, see, it's just shit like that where I'm just like, man, like you could have totally survived.
And the fact that he low key lost his gun kind of quickly, like he just kicked them, took it from him, and was like, bam, you know.
Yeah, this bodega man is not equipped for this kind of capacity.
Like, what thugs were he stopping with a shotgun? You know what I mean? Like,
oh man, he was getting all the robbers were just like, hand it over, give me the shotgun.
You're
bro.
not that guy.
Yeah, no. There was I would say there was a couple, like the whole subway scene too, when they got caught behind and everything. I know it was Ethan's fault, like he was kind of toying around with it or whatever, but like the rest of the gang, like I get there was a lot of people, but the rest of the gang really, we're all on edge. Why is it not everybody holding hands? You know what I'm saying? Like or like holding on to each other to like be like, hey, we got to make sure that we get on here. If Ethan's stuck, we already think he's the killer. Fuck him and walk away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, why would you stay for him if you already were suspect? Because right afterwards, she was like, get away from me. Like, go over there. It's like, if you already felt that way, why the fuck would you wait for him? You know?
Yeah,
like, might as well just stick together. He can't kill you guys if you're all together, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the problem. He can't kill anybody if they're all together. So that's where I kind of felt like they set her up a little bit in the movie.
Yeah. Damn. But a lot of this movie I still really like, even with those nitpicks. And you're just like, well, the movie averages out pretty well.
And that's
from kills to story. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, and that's why I say like it's a lot of dumb stuff. But I mean, to be honest, all the Scream movies have that. I mean, all the little stumbles where he slips on his own, or where like a hit happens and he just drops all the way to the floor. I get it. It's something that needs to happen in order to keep the movie going. I understand. It's just there's some blatant ones that are just like, okay, we it's hard to overlook. But all in all, Josh, with those nitpicks in mind, with the cast in mind, with everything that happened, I think this movie did great. I think they utilized New York in a great way. The cinematography was amazing with certain shots, the sunset shots and all that. The camera work with the chase scenes were perfection, were chef's kiss. I really love that they were able to get that movement within the apartment scene with Gail. That shit was I'm telling you, Gail's scene in this movie is top notch, and the fact that they were able to make a top notch movie like this is, to me, pretty great. Pretty great. Let's talk about that twist though, real quick, before we close it out. I just want to talk about the twist because, like I said, this is something that can make or break a movie, a Scream movie, for the 3-person reveal.
Yeah.
How'd that work for you?
I liked it. I thought it worked out pretty well. I mean, we know usually the twist is it's 2 Ghostface, but they decided to make it a family thing and involve the dad. So I mean, it's not too crazy because they feel wrong that the chick or they think the chick killed him, whatever. Or she did, but out of self-defense. But for all 3 of them to be like this upset about it and stuff, I think it works. I didn't really I feel like toward the end though, the dad was kind of more like the pack leader and the 2 were like the henchmen. But other than that, like I was fine with it.
When I walked into this movie, when I walked into this theater, when I literally said they're gonna up it and there's gonna be like 3 killers. In my head, I walked in there and I was like, there's gonna be 3 killers. And in all of history of Scream, there's only been 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when it happened, I was like, they did get me on the way that it happened. Looking back at it now, I was kind of like in the moment. So when the daughter came back, I was like, okay, I can get that. They played it off well, and that's how they were able to get away with a lot of stuff, and that's fine. I just didn't like the 3. I think that was the problem for me. And I didn't like that as well, where like they just kind of turned into the henchmen. I would have liked if it was more personal, and maybe if it was the daughter and not Ethan and just been them 2. And it would have been she could have gave like an emotional scene, like that was my brother or whatever, or something like that. I feel like they could have really struck a chord. I don't know if that would have been like too out of place in a Scream movie, and that's why they didn't go that route. But I don't know. I feel like the 3 was just too much. Though it worked, and though at the end of the day, it didn't drop this movie a lot of points for me and my overall score that we'll be getting to right now. But yeah, I just think the 3 and them turning into henchmen just kind of, and it basically just turned between the dad versus the daughters, and then he was just like, go get him, and they just went to go get him, kind of thing,
Yeah, that's why that was my whole thing. I was like, toward the end, like just the whole using them as henchmen, or I was like, where he was basically just ordering them around, and then he'd stumble and fall, and then Kirby shot him. You're kind of like, okay, we have to worry about not just these 2, but the 3rd one now. Which, I mean, he was kind of out of the picture for a good minute before showing up on the balcony, and then on the stage where he gets his fucking shit stabbed. So, so no real big problem other than the fact that they ended up being henchmen. I like the connection. I like that they were connected in a way, and they try to make it about family and stuff like that. That's what I really like about Scream 5 and 6. I like the connection between Billy Loomis and the daughter. I know some people will be like, oh, but why would he have a daughter with someone other than Sydney, this and that, right? But I don't know, him being the guy he was, I guess I can picture it. Him having a one-night stand and whatnot, because Sydney low-key wasn't giving it to him, so it would make sense somewhere out there. But I know people have a problem with that. I also like I like that she sees him, the ghost of Billy. You know what I mean? I enjoy that whole thing. And so when he was like, ooh, my favorite choice or whatever, when she grabs the knife and then she decides to like don the mask and everything, I like that whole scene. It was pretty good.
I like it too. I just think he's too old. I would have wished like, I get he still aged really well. I think he still looks great for his age, but I was just like, damn, still looks really old. Kind of takes you out a little bit, but I do enjoy that as well. That's just a little nitpick. I do like that little connection. I never seen an issue with that connection, to be honest. I think it makes it more personal, I guess, for the survivor who's trying to resist doing what her dad did, you know what I mean, but still needs to do it at the end of the day. So like it's a good little play on. And yeah, the twist was cool. Wish it would was executed just a tad different. Still doesn't knock it a lot of points for me. I know we haven't done a Scream 5 review or any of the other ones, but I think we'll be doing a ranking one pretty soon. But Josh, for now,
Wait, before we get to the score.
oh,
Favorite
okay,
kill?
he got more.
Favorite kill?
Oh, favorite kill. Ooh.
Favorite kill, and we'll do least favorite kill before we get to the score.
Okay, so my favorite kill, I have to say, was the ladder scene.
Dude.
Both times when she got stabbed, from there up, and then when she falls and they show her face, that was my favorite kill. My least favorite kill, they really did a lot. I gotta say, had to be I don't know. What's your favorite kill first? Let me think.
My favorite kill. Are we counting Are we counting them being stabbed and then presumably dead before coming back? Because I mean, it happens with the daughter, and then it happens with the twin brother, and then Loki, the twin sister.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Whatever.
Okay,
Leads
so
up.
then mine was the dude getting. It was Loki, the twin brother, getting stabbed. I was like, I really thought that was it for him because two Ghostface stabbing the fuck out of you, bro. I thought that was it. I was gonna be like, no, he was one of my favorites of the new cast to come through. So
Okay.
him, and then if you're still thinking about it, my least favorite, I think the therapist. It looked cool, but I kind of felt no reason behind it. You know what I mean? It just felt like, oh, he's in my way. I'm gonna stab the fuck out of him. He has what I want, so I'm gonna kill him. You know what I mean? It felt unnecessary almost.
Okay, yeah. I gotta say my least favorite kill gots to be, I would have to say the bodega dude. I said, even though it was cool how he flipped the gun, it takes it away when, I think that's the problem with gun kills, right? Is that it takes away that little extra, flair to it, in my opinion, because you shoot him one time, you're done. If it was a pistol and they shot him in the leg and made him suffer and then shot him in the other leg or something, it would have been different, but it was just kind of done quick. And I would just have to say it is the gun kill of the movie, and that's probably cheating on my part, but I would have to say that's
well, I mean,
worst.
Remember when I told you way back when we first saw the trailer, I was like, how many times have I told you would it be easier if Ghostface used a shotgun?
Yeah.
And then they give him a shotgun, so that one's one of my favorites too, but I felt that one was too easy, so I had to elaborate on a different one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that kill too, so yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, what's your score for the movie? Let's hear it.
I give it a 9.
9?
It was really good, and I do, like I said, I do like this one. When our ranking comes out, I'm not sure where it'll fall, but I really did enjoy this one. A little bit better than the fifth. They kind of fight, and then obviously the first one and the rest of them kind of, we'll figure out where they fall. But I just really liked the acting in this one, the twist, the kills, even though some of them kind of fall short, and then overall a 9. It works.
Yeah, I have to say, damn, I gotta give it I want to give it a 9, but I want to say an 8.5, and that's only because they had not one but 2 characters that really were useless in the movie. Though I did like the twist, I think 3 was too much, and it just turned into kind of a henchman fight towards the end of the movie. And those little hiccups here and there, though I liked it, and I liked the scenery, and I liked the new place, I'm still trying to figure out 2. Nah, I think I got a good idea what's ahead of it, Scream 5 or Scream 6. But in the overall placement with everything, I wouldn't know, but I would have to give it 8.5. I think it's a solid movie. I think everybody acted really well, even though I was kind of skeptical of Sam Carpenter, Melissa Barrera's character in Scream 5. She really worked it in this movie, and I think that says a lot about Scream in general, now that Sydney's not here and they don't have to feel the need to force her in every single movie.
Yeah,
I think that speaks a lot, and I think Neve Campbell really needs to really think about what the hell she's doing in these Scream movies, because to be honest, I liked in this one that they didn't have to feel the need to put her in this movie. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't. They kept her away, and it really helped the movie a lot in the long run, in my opinion. I think Scream 5 was kind of weighed down a little bit by Neve Campbell.
It just depends. It just maybe that's the thing, because the fifth one kind of needed them to come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think if you start off with a different cast, as we've seen throughout this whole like requel era thing, like it doesn't just work if you don't have them come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you kind of need them to come back, and then in the case of scary movies, you got to kill them off. You have to kill off Dewey, unfortunately, even though he's had how many runs in with death and survives.
Yeah.
And then you kind of have to do Gale, and then I know they probably will never kill Sydney, but at some point she also has to go.
Yeah. And I was thinking that would have been the last movie, but it's good to know that she's out and kicking and she's living her life, and this movie is just centered around Ghostface and the people that they're after. You know what I mean? I just don't want them to get stuck in the same trope with Sam Carpenter and Tara Carpenter. That's why I'm hoping with this ending of this one that it's kind of pushing that narrative that, one of these days she might just snap.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that that's probably what's going to happen in Scream 7, because it is greenlit and it will be coming out probably by next year. So it doesn't take long to make these movies. So yeah, Scream 6, guys. If you haven't watched it, go check it out. No, we gave a little bit of spoilers in this one, but we missed out on a lot. So there's still some surprises within the movie. Go check it out. And if you already checked it out, we want to hear your guys' thoughts. If there's anything that we missed on this review, anything that you want to hear from us on one of these episodes, anything that we should be talking about but haven't, Josh, let them know where they could let us know.
Twitter, TikTok, Instagram at FilmBros Podcast. You can hit us up. We post when new episodes are out, and you get to engage with us. So why not? If you want to listen to us on the go, Spotify and Apple Podcast at FilmBros Podcast. If you want to support us in a big way, Zippy Stream at FilmBros Podcast. All it takes is a name and an email. You get updates of when new episodes drop, and you can hit us up directly via email. And go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube at FilmBros Podcast.
And don't forget YouTube. Come on now. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We will be putting out videos pretty soon. With that being said, we'll talk to you guys on the next one.
Talk to you guys later.